If you ever wondered what kind of woman Marilyn Monroe truly was, not the glamorous star the world adored, not the fragile icon the media created, but the human being underneath, then listen closely. Because this is the night Marilyn saved a young actress from losing everything. A night almost no one in Hollywood ever talked about. A night that showed exactly why Marilyn Monroe was far more powerful, far more compassionate, and far more extraordinary than the world ever understood. It was early 1958, during the height of Marilyn's fame. Hollywood was a battlefield dressed like a dream. Behind the glittering gowns, polished smiles, and glowing movie posters, there lived a world of fear. Fear of aging, fear of failure, fear of being replaced. And no one felt that fear more deeply than the young actresses entering the industry, desperate for a chance, terrified of making a single mistake. One of them was a 19-year-old named Evelyn Hart. She had come to Los Angeles with 2 suitcases, a stack of headshots, and a heart full of hope. Evelyn was talented, bright eyes, expressive face, the kind of girl who could play innocence and heartbreak in the same scene. A studio had placed her under contract, promising her small roles, training, and opportunities. But promises in Hollywood often evaporate like morning mist. On this particular day, Evelyn waited outside stage 12, her hands trembling as she rehearsed lines for a screen test. It was her biggest chance so far. If she failed, the studio would likely drop her. If she succeeded, it could change her life. Inside the building, Marilyn Monroe was already filming. She moved through the set like sunlight, soft, bright, warming everyone she passed. People loved being around her, not because of fame, but because she made them feel safe. She carried her own pain quietly, but always made room to hold someone else's. Between takes, Marilyn noticed a young girl pacing outside the window, looking as if she might burst into tears at any moment. "Who is she?" Marilyn asked her makeup artist. "New contract girl," he said. "Audition today. Poor thing looks like a frightened bird." Marilyn watched Evelyn's hands shake as she held her script. Something about the girl tugged at her heart. The fear, the loneliness, the feeling of not belonging. She remembered those feelings vividly. She had lived them. Evelyn stepped inside the building, heading toward the audition room. But just before turning the corner, she bumped into the assistant director, a man notorious for his cruelty. He sneered, "Watch where you're going, sweetheart. You think clumsy girls get screen time." Evelyn apologized timidly. The assistant director rolled his eyes. "Let's hope your acting isn't as pathetic as your walking." Evelyn shrank in on herself. Marilyn saw the entire thing. During her break, Marilyn walked toward Evelyn, her heels echoing softly on the concrete floor. The young actress didn't notice her until Marilyn spoke. "You know," Marilyn said gently, "you might want to breathe before you faint." Evelyn turned around and her heart nearly stopped. Marilyn Monroe was standing right in front of her, warm smile, soft gaze, an aura of kindness. I'm sorry," Evelyn stammered. "I didn't mean—" Marilyn placed a comforting hand on her arm. "Honey, don't apologize for being nervous. It means you care." Evelyn's eyes filled with tears. "I'm afraid they'll drop me. I'm afraid I'm not good enough." Marilyn nodded slowly. "They told me the same thing when I was your age. Too shy, too emotional, too unsure. But here's the truth. Being yourself terrifies people who can't feel." Evelyn swallowed hard. "How do you do it? How do you walk into rooms like you're not scared?" Marilyn laughed softly. "Who said I'm not scared? I just walk in anyway." Evelyn managed a weak smile. Marilyn gently lifted Evelyn's chin. "Come with me." She led her to a quieter corner backstage, away from shouting crew members and critical eyes. "Let me hear your lines," Marilyn said. Evelyn read the first few sentences, but her voice trembled uncontrollably. Her breathing was unsteady. She kept apologizing, stumbling over words. Marilyn raised a hand. "Stop worrying about what they want. What do you want the audience to feel?" Evelyn looked confused. "Feel?" Marilyn nodded. "Acting is not about being perfect. It's about being honest. Try again. But this time, just talk to me." Evelyn tried again. Her voice was still shaky, but something began to shift. Marilyn's presence was grounding, safe, warm, encouraging. Evelyn began to loosen, let down her defenses, speak with her heart instead of her nerves. Marilyn smiled proudly. "There she is. That's the real girl. That's the one who will get the job." Evelyn blinked back tears. "Thank you. I don't know how to repay you." Marilyn squeezed her hand. "Just promise me something." "Anything," Evelyn whispered. "Promise me you won't let this town decide your worth. They judge from the outside. You must protect the inside." Before Evelyn could respond, the assistant director stormed down the hallway. "You! Evelyn, you're late. If you mess this up, don't bother coming back." Evelyn froze. Marilyn stepped forward and said calmly, "She was with me." The assistant director turned pale. "Oh, Miss Monroe, I didn't realize." Marilyn's expression hardened slightly. "Maybe treat these girls with more kindness. They're trying their best." The man nodded quickly and scurried off. Evelyn stared at Marilyn in awe. "How did you do that?" Marilyn shrugged. "Bullies melt when someone stands up to them." Evelyn was called into the audition room. As she walked in, she turned and saw Marilyn still standing there, watching her with a soft, encouraging smile. For the first time that day, Evelyn felt brave. The audition began. Evelyn stumbled over the first line. Then she paused, remembering Marilyn's words. "What do you want them to feel?" She exhaled slowly, centered herself, and started again, this time pouring every fear, every hope, every beating of her heart into the performance. 20 minutes later, she walked out of the room with tears streaming down her face. Marilyn rushed over. "Honey, what happened? Are those good tears or bad ones?" Evelyn laughed through the tears. "Good ones. They gave me the part." Marilyn's face lit up. She hugged the girl tightly. "I'm proud of you." But the story didn't end there. 2 weeks later, Evelyn's first day on set turned into another nightmare. The director, famous for breaking young actresses emotionally, singled her out for being too stiff, too emotional, not Hollywood enough. Evelyn's confidence shattered. She went home and cried, telling her roommate she was thinking of quitting acting altogether. Marilyn found out. One afternoon, she walked straight onto Evelyn's set, ignoring the startled director. The crew froze. Marilyn's presence was like a tidal wave. All attention shifted instantly. "What are you doing here?" the director snapped. Marilyn smiled politely. "I heard you had a rising star on your hands. I came to see her." The director stuttered, suddenly less harsh. She's still learning." Marilyn stepped closer. "So did I. So did you. So did everyone who ever mattered." She turned to Evelyn and whispered, "Show them the girl I met." With Marilyn there, calm, confident, fearless, Evelyn transformed. Every line she delivered carried weight. Every look was alive. The crew stared in awe. By the end of the day, the director approached Marilyn. "She's quite good." Marilyn grinned. "She always was." Evelyn hugged her tightly. "Why are you doing this for me?" Marilyn held her gently. because I know how it feels to stand alone, and because one day you'll do this for someone else. Years later, Evelyn Hart became an award-winning actress, and in every interview she credited one person for saving her career. Marilyn Monroe believed in me before I knew how to believe in myself. Marilyn never mentioned it, never bragged, never used it for publicity, because helping others wasn't something she performed. It was who she was. If you want to hear more hidden stories of Marilyn Monroe, the stories Hollywood never told, the stories that reveal her heart, subscribe to Hidden Marilyn. The truth behind the legend continues to unfold.